Okay, so looking at your homework, we already kind of briefly talked about these elasticity of demand. So your formula is up here, delta QD over delta P. In order to find those, we need to take our original minus our new over our original times 100. Remember that we're dealing with absolute values, so when we're calculating, even if we get a negative number, we're going to look at it positively, okay? So we take 3 minus 6, we'd get a negative 3, but absolute value, we're going to have 3, okay? So make sure that when you're looking at this below, calculating, first of all, read from right here, looking from $2 to $4. It tells you what your original and your new is, okay? Ignore this. It's there to distract you. Then you're going to also have to graph the data in a table. So we have our price axis, quantity axis. So you're going to label your graph and draw it. Plot your points, okay? This unit of economics is very math dependent, okay? And you're going to do that for all of these. And you may notice that when you're graphing some of these lines, that the graph itself, when looking at your notes, shows that it is either perfectly inelastic or perfectly elastic, okay? So, do these four. This part we talked about too. You're going to do, fill out these charts, which is just simple multiplication. Your total revenue column is your price times quantity demanded. So for here, 1 times 25 is 25. 2 times x equals 40. Solve for x. It's going to be 20. Okay? You're going to do that all these charts. Okay? This is the new part that we haven't talked about yet. So we're going to look at these shifts, and then we're going to look at shortages and surplus and ceilings and floors. Okay? So I'm going to do the market for cars. Okay? So right now, starting off the bat, my equilibrium price, right? Remember that equilibrium is where the supply curve and the demand curve meet. Well, if I look here, those 2 points intersect right here. And it's at this point. Well, my price is in the thousands. So my equilibrium price is 20. You can put 23.5. I prefer you put 23,500. Okay? So that's the price. Our original equilibrium price. And then our quantity, we go down. Our quantity is in hundreds. So it's between 6 and 7. So it's going to be 650 in this particular example. Okay? Now we have a scenario that we need to look at. A new machine can help assemble doors on a car at half the current time. So if I have a new technology, that's going to affect the supply. Okay? Is it going to shift it to the left or to the right? It's going to shift it to the right because supply will increase. Okay? So now, my new price, my new quantity. So that was Q1. Here's Q2, P2. So in this particular example, my effect on supply is supply has increased. Demand has stayed the same, right? We've seen no initial change on demand in this particular scenario, okay? Remember what I said earlier, you can also go back into your notes, okay, which your notes can be found on Canvas if you did not bring your copy home, and look at this, okay? So there's no change in my demand curve. So I'm going to look at this top row here. My supply shifted to the right. It increased, okay? So my quantity goes up and my price decreases, right? Which is what we're able to see here, okay? My price didn't go up. My price decreased. Okay, always use the chart to check your movement, okay? And the quantity did increase. So for this part where it says new price and new quantity, I do not want to see numbers. That's because we don't know the exact degree to which a supply or demand curve is shifting either way. right? We just know that overall the price will change this way and quantity will change this way. So new price has gone down and new quantity has gone up. It's increased, okay? So you're going to do that for question 12 and for question 9 and 10, okay? You may notice that with some of these, you shift a curve, but you don't know if the price changed, okay? Again, refer back to this chart because there's some points, right? If the supply curve increases and the demand curve increases, well, we don't know to what degree, so my price is undetermined, okay? So there's certain situations in this chart where either the quantity can be undetermined or the price is undetermined, okay? There's situations where they increase or they decrease. Use this chart. If you want to come back to this video, at this point, pause it, and you want to look at all the scenarios real quick so that you can fill that out, that's fine. All right, going back to our homework now. All right, we're looking at shortages and surpluses. So looking at the graph in the market, when given a condition, determine if the market will face a shortage or a surplus and then circle your answer, okay? So if we're looking at consumers wanting 25 of a product, okay? Consumers mean demand. So looking at demand, quantity 25. If I come up here, right, this is where demand is at 25. It's set at this price. That is a terrible line. But anyway, at that price, the suppliers are only willing to supply 12 of that good, okay? I have at that price more demand than I do supplied. So that gives me a shortage. Looking at 16 now, suppliers, so that means my supply curve, sell the product for $3. All right, $3 is right here, about the same point we were at last time. So here's where that's at on my supply curve. Bring it down. Again, we're looking at about 15 here. That's a 5. Okay, bring that over to demand where we're at 25. Again, I have more demand, this current line here, this is where it goes and meets at that price of $3, than I do supplied. So I'm going to face another shortage. Right, so do 14 and 15 on your own. If I have time, I'll do one more of the market shift examples. Okay, so now we're going to look at these graphs and determine if the government has set a price floor or a price ceiling, and then we're going to circle our answer. Okay, so going back to our notes, we know that price ceilings, price floors, okay, a ceiling is set below equilibrium price. If you want to write this part down here in your on your homework so that you remember it, okay, a price ceiling is set below equilibrium price. A price floor is set at equilibrium price or higher. Okay, so all right, just visually looking here, the price limit is set at this dotted line. Where is the dotted line in comparison to the equilibrium point? Right, it's not above it, it's not at it, it's below. And remember, the market has a tendency to move towards equilibrium. It wants to go up to that point, but it can't, right? So if I'm in a room and I want to keep going up, I'm going to hit the ceiling. Okay? That's for number 19. Let's look at number 18. The government sets minimum wage at $8. Okay? So looking here at this price, $8. In both of these, we have a price, a quantity demanded, and quantity supplied. Price, quantity demanded, quantity supplied. That's what the QD, QS mean. So my equilibrium is where the quantity demanded and quantity supply would be the same at a particular price. Okay? So on this graph, it happens to be right here at 100. So they set a minimum wage at $8. They're setting a price level at this equilibrium price. If it's set at the equilibrium, that means it's a floor. Okay? So do number 17. And I have about 5 minutes here to try to get through one more example of these market conditions up here. So let's go back up and we'll go to number 9. Looking at the market for gloves. Okay? Or actually, let's do earbuds. We're going to do earbuds, number 10. All right. Looking just first, off the bat, where is equilibrium? It's right here, where the supply and demand curve meet. When we bring that over to our price, down for our quantity, here's our original quantity. That's Q, Q1, P1. Okay? And we're moving up by 5s, so my equilibrium price is $35. Okay, equilibrium quantity is 7. All right, my scenario. Research says that earbuds can give off radiation, causing ear cancer. Well, that's some bad information. I don't want to buy earbuds. I don't know about you. Okay, so that's going to affect demand. This doesn't have an initial effect on supply. So, nothing on supply, demand will decrease. So if it's decreasing, it's going to shift to the left. That's an arrow. Okay, so this is now my D2. Now, equilibrium is over here at this point. Bring that down, bring it over. My price has dropped. My quantity has also dropped. Okay, we'll go check our chart just to be sure. All right, so my demand curve shifts to the left. It decreases. That's what we're looking at as what has happened. Supply curve is unchanged. Quantity decreased, price decreased. Is that what we found? That's what we found. Our new price goes down. Our new quantity also goes down. Remember, I don't want to see numbers in this area. Okay? I need to see arrows or question marks. All right. And I can possibly get through one of these really quickly. All right, so we're going to look at number 3. From $20 to $22, is this good, elastic or inelastic? Okay, first I'm going to plot my points, 1, 2, 3, and I've got my prices of 20, 21, 22. Okay, so at $20 they want 2, at 21 they want 2, at 22 they want 2. Wow, look at that, straight line. It's a very poorly drawn straight line, but a straight line nonetheless. Okay, I've plotted my points. Good job, me. Now, my formula is original, that's an O, minus new over original times 100. And I'm looking from 20, so that makes 20 my original, and 22 my new. So, price 20 minus 22 over 20 times 100. 22. So that's negative 2 over 20. We deal with absolute values, so 2 over 20. It's 0.1 times 100 is 100. So delta P is 100. Okay, now delta QD, I'm going to erase this other work, so if you need to pause this for a moment so that you can write down this work, go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so let me erase. And again, same thing, now with quantity demanded. So 2 minus 2 over 2 times 100 is 0 over 2. 0 times 100 is 0. So delta Q, the change in Q, is 0. Okay? And 0 over 100 is 0. So it is an inelastic good. Or if you just want to circle it, do that. Okay? If you have any questions, email me, come to my office hours, either in the morning from 10 to 11 or in the afternoon from 1 to 2. Message me on Canvas inbox, however you need to contact me. Let me know if you have questions. We'll review this when we come back to school.